We are going to do a little bit of presentation slideshow just because some of you, this is really brand new to you. I was just in our inbox and in our email box and in our text box, and so many of you, you just want to learn more. I've talked to so many nurses this week. Our advisor team, who's here, Sarah and Kelly Newland, who are on this call right now, they've had calls with several of you, and I know a lot of you had calls with us and you're coming here. I also know a lot of you, this is the first time you're interacting with us. And so for my students and for my graduates, you're going to hear a little bit about me again and again. But there's going to be a little bit for everybody tonight. I really made sure of that. I really appreciate you choosing to spend 90 minutes here on Zoom where you could be doing anything else. Time is such a precious commodity for us nurses, for us mothers, for us just busy humans. And so I really appreciate your time. And we've got first timers here. By a show of hands, I think I got everybody on my screen, but by a show of hands, how many of you just found out about nurse coaching the last 7 days? Yeah, cool. My plan is working. My plan is working. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be a treat for you. Man, I wish that something like this existed when I was getting into nurse coaching. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I don't know if Kelly and Sarah, if I make you guys co-hosts, would you mind that? Are you going to be here for the whole time, you think? Yeah. I'll make you guys,
Yeah.
Kelly, I'm going to make you co-host in case anything weird happens, like my power went out. That happened actually at one workshop. So let me make you
Sure.
co-host before we start. Oh, cancel. It won't let me. That's okay. No, there's no storm tonight, so we're gonna roll with it. Is okay. All right,
Okay,
give me
give
a
me a
few seconds here to tee it up, and we will be ready to go.
hello.
Hello. All right, so tonight's workshop is called How to Start a Profitable Nurse Coaching Practice in 2026. And I always like to use the word profitable or use some form of pointing to income or money because I have been doing this long enough to know that if I train a nurse coach to be an excellent, excellent practitioner, if he or she cannot learn how to make money doing it, we don't get to do it in the world because there's not a whole percentage of us that are able to do, to spend a lot of time and energy on a skill set if we aren't being paid on it. So from like a spiritual perspective, I'm a big advocate for not only learning this skill for getting certified, but also learning how to do it professionally, how to be paid to do it, whether it be in private practice or whether it be working in an organization. Because if you can find a way to earn money doing it, that means you're going to keep doing it. And the more nurse coaches who are practicing weekly in our hospitals, in our communities, that just makes the world a better place. And so I always like to give that disclaimer here that for many of us, most of you here, I've talked to you for years. You're here because you're seeking a deeper purpose. You're seeking more fulfillment. There's something about your current role or vocation that isn't quite satisfying you in the way that you would hope to be satisfied. And so many of you, it is not that you want a side income or that it's income based. It really is purpose based. But I also am a big advocate for teaching you how to make money doing it because it's a skill that I can teach. Our agenda tonight: one, why so many nurses feel stuck. Two, the moment nursing stopped fitting and what that means. Three, what nurse coaching is and what it is not. Four, how nurses are building real practices in the world. Five, I'm going to do a live demo. Six, an invitation for those who feel called to more. And of course, we're going to have space for some Q&A afterwards. I want to give an introduction to who I am, but I also grabbed these screenshots just recently And so, first, my director of education sent this to our Slack channel today. She said, at channel, really cool coaching session. We have 3 students who already asked by their pro bonos to continue as a paid client. It's so neat to listen to the difference this course and these nurses are making. This is a screenshot of a text that we had. Would you like to do a fit call for Nurse Coach Residency? Nurse Coach Residency is a program that we do post graduation for some percentage of nurses who are really looking to dive deep into private practice. And this nurse said, that sounds great. I can't wait to talk to you. I really can't express how much I've enjoyed starting cohort 5. It has been the best decision I've made in my nursing career. This is all from today. I just grabbed these today. And then this is another screenshot. It said, hey, Shelby, I started working as a spiritual ambassador for my department at work, and I'm getting paid. I feel this is a very good start for me. I may go into private practice, but I'm currently working with one of the pastors at my church to develop a health ministry. I will be part of this ministry as a nurse coach. This will also be a paid position. Thank you so much for this course and the direction you have all given. Shelby and I have worked with 700 nurses, more than 700 nurses since 2020. Our students have earned over $5.6 million in private practice, not counting all the organizational money that they've made. This isn't a guess. This is actually from forms that we have given our mentees and our students monthly because I wanted to track data. I really wanted to have numbers. So when new nurse coaches came into the world, it was evidence-based. It wasn't hype. And I certainly want to shoot it to you straight with what it looks like. And I'll go ahead and introduce myself here, and I'm going to stop sharing, but I've been a nurse coach since 2018, and my nursing was a second career for me. And in 2016, I started getting really chronically ill. I had chronic pain throughout my body, severe insomnia, depression, anxiety. I was gaining weight for no reason, chronic sinusitis. I had strep throat like 4 times in 1 year. I had nerve pain on my foot that started the day I had my spinal with my first son, and I walked the limp for almost 24 months, so much so that I started having other parts of my body break down from walking with a limp. And at the time, I was working for Kaiser Permanente in Northern California. I had excellent health care coverage. I did everything the doctors asked me to do. I saw every specialist, and 3 years in, I was on 16 medications, getting sicker, not better. And my primary care physician said, hey, Laura, you just got to double down on psychiatry. This is all in your head. There's like nothing we can do for you here. And it was at that moment I realized that if I didn't want to die, if I wanted to be a mother, if I wanted to keep being a paid nurse, that I was going to have to heal myself. And so I think it was like the first moment I realized, like, oh, like me giving all my agency to experts is not going to save my life. And I was an ICU nurse that's really smart. And so I felt like, oh my gosh, if this can happen to me, like what's happening to other patients in our system? Well, I got to find out because at the time I was working as an advice nurse for Kaiser. So I was physically off the floor, which was good because of my chronic illness. And I was listening to calls from women my same age, same symptoms. And so this was like not rare. There was a lot of women suffering from like a lot of strange symptoms with charts that probably looked like mine. I went to a naturopathic doctor. In 16 weeks, I was off all my medications, 80% symptom free. And I was so disillusioned with healthcare because it had failed me, like severely failed me. And so for me, I had driven into work one day. And that day I had several women call in with the same symptoms, and my calls were recorded, and I realized I couldn't help them. I had to give the advice that was scripted. And I knew that likely they were going to spend 3 years, thousands and thousands of dollars, and be on more and more medications. And I like had some ideas on how I could actually help them heal. And I would be fired if I told them that. Any of those things. And so it was a moral injury for me. I quit my job with no notice. I burned the boats. I just didn't want I didn't want to be able to be rehired because I knew that the universe or God didn't put me through all that for nothing. And I was just bound and determined to do something with that. So it was just enough disgruntledness to get me moving and into motion. And that's right when I found nurse coaching and started my training. The naturopathic doctor I worked for hired me into her office. I started seeing all of her patients, and I just started being well known in my community as like the nurse coach to go to. And it was a very small mountain community, but I was making probably it took me about 18 months, but I was making close to six figures in private practice. And then I had a lot of nurse coaches asking me how I did it because they were graduating and everybody was having a hard time. And Shelby, my co-founder, she was the only other one who quit her job and went all in as well. And so we had stayed in contact. And I remember about the 18-month mark, said, I'm getting like 2 calls a week or texts a week from nurses that need help. Do you want to like start doing some classes or just helping them with what we know? Because it's like pretty simple stuff. Like we can get them started. And then that started to gain so much momentum that by the time it was 2020, I realized I could have more impact if I created 100 nurse coaches with six-figure practices than just mine that I was maxed at. And so it was an accidental way that our brand, The Successful Nurse Coach, was born. I feel like if you're here tonight, there's something, a need in your career or in your life that's not being met. We don't come to these things unless we want to get something. And so I'm so curious for you. And I know so many of you have such rich stories you get to tell me and my advisor team all the time. But in the chat, what reason are you here for? I just want to know. And it can be a short phrase. It can be a sentence. It can be a word. But I want to know why you're here. What could possibly be the origin story? Alignment, more opportunity. Isabel says, I feel the exact same way. I want to pivot out of management. I want to make a difference. Burned out. Canadian nurses, we love you. Freedom, autonomy, looking to pivot, tired of bullying in the workplace. This has been huge. I've been hearing this over and over again. Disgusted with the healthcare system. I really want to help others. I felt that same way. So I really share that origin story of disgust. What I can say is that we have met some amazing nurse managers, CNOs, and nurse leaders who are sending students through the academy where their employees say that their workplace is amazing. So I want to also acknowledge that in our system, they're not all bad. A lot of them are really bad. There's some little like bright lights of like hope. And so I'm really interested in fostering hope in those communities. Finding joy, own business, passion, helping people heal via spiritual. Yes. You guys are probably finding some friends in the comments here if you're tracking. I feel like God wants me to do more. Yeah, I love that one. That's a perfect segue. So how did we start Nurse Life Coach Academy? Well, God told me to do it and I didn't want to. That's it in a nutshell. I'll give you a more context, but we had been mentoring graduates from other programs for years. And I liked doing that. I love business. I love private practice. I love teaching nurses how to make the first time you sign your first client and a client pays you and you love it and they love it and you're making money. It's like one of those pinch me moments that people talk about. It's like, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Like that's real. That happens. And I also noticed the limitations of the other programs. So I also noticed all the training I had to do post certification to get them ready to be professional nurse coaches. So one very well-known program is very, very heavy in theory. And so very intellectual. And so everybody would come out like knowing all the things, but feeling like a deer in headlights when it came to actually like boots on the ground coaching in real life. The other certification was really more focused towards health. It had some pretty severe like dietary biases that I didn't agree with. And actually, it's not a nurse coach's job to tell a client how to eat. And so there's just misalignment with like some of the programs, but I really liked the role that I had. And my dad had been diagnosed with cancer and I had gone to the hospital with him and he had had a burnt out nurse and she was kind of awful and she really pissed me off. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm pretty healthy now, so I don't go to the doctor that much anymore. But I have aging parents and one day I'm going to age. And like, we have to have hospitals with not burnt out nurses. Like we have to have a safe place for us to go and heal. And I feel like that was God's first whisper. And it's like, hey, like build a program that not only allows nurses to do private practices, but that hospitals will bring in, will adopt, and will train these nurses to operate in nursing in a way that won't leave them so burnt out. And by the way, it'll also teach you how to have boundaries and not put up with stupid shit in your organizations because you're going to know what you're worth. And that's how we change culture. And we have amazing nurse leaders in this room right now, I'm sure of it. And we have amazing nurse leaders in our January cohort. So it's not like everything's like we don't have to burn it all down. We have to go find the places that are doing it right, that are doing it well. We have to emulate, we have to iterate, we have to innovate. And the best way to do that is for me to train you guys, put you like ninjas inside the systems and start creating some change from within. But in the meantime, we can open a part-time private practice where you're getting income and you're practicing the skill. And it's something that you can do until you're 80. You can do nurse coaching until you're 80. Your body can handle it. It'll feed you. So that's kind of my origin story. Ooh, I got a little sweaty and hot and heated. And Robin says, what do I think about Trump saying that nursing's not be professional? I think that the word Trump is just a bummer sometimes. And I don't even want to talk about it. Love him or hate him. I don't even want to talk about it. I think that we decide what's professional and like, who cares? That's what I think. All right. I'm going to share my screen again here. We're going to go back here to our little slide. So why do nurses feel stuck or unfulfilled? Okay, so I have estimated that I've talked to 2,000 nurses over the last 4 years and really started talking to nurses in 2020. And so, COVID, I think, sorry, let me go back. COVID, if there were any cracks in the system, COVID broke them open. Yes, absolutely. Our poor new nurses that were going through clinicals at that time, and that's still like what's happening from that. Like we have not recovered from that. And so I really want to honor that it hasn't been easy out there in the last 4 years. And I've had so many conversations. But after you've had 2,000 conversations with nurses, like I know the top 5 reasons because I've talked to so many people that that nurses feel stuck or unfulfilled. And so we just went through in the chat and many of you said what was for you, but let me tell you what those 5 reasons are. The top 5 reasons are many nurses are not tired of helping. They're tired of not being able to help in the way that they actually feel like they were called to help. I don't know if Olive is on this call tonight. I had a call with Olive today. She's a Jamaican nurse that I had the pleasure of meeting today. And she was talking about when she practiced nursing in the ICU in Jamaica, there was so much more autonomy and there was so much more space for healing and for the nurse-patient relationship. And when she got to the United States, it was a really big culture shock because there was just no space for that. And it was just very transactional and right. And so I think that that really hints to something is that most nurses have a basic human need of feeling like they need to contribute. And we are not feeling like we're getting our need of contribution met professionally, which really sucks. And that means you're trading your time for money, 40 hours or more a week for some of you, and not getting needs met. And then you're too tired outside of work to go get that need met anywhere else because you got a family and you got stuff. So we go years and years and years without having that box filled for us. That weighs on us over time. That can make us physically sick, mentally sick, spiritually sick. Next, the system rewards speed, not presence. The very thing that makes nurses exceptional, presence, is no longer valued. Okay? Just do more, do it fast, chart it correctly, keep your head down. And that is really what is rewarded because that is a money-making machine. And so we start to feel like we're part of that money-making machine. Let me ask you guys this question. I'm so excited to see how many hands in the air go for this one. But how many of you are the person that everybody comes to, either strangers or acquaintances or friends, anytime they're struggling, they have something wrong, not even just physically with health, but mentally, everybody comes to you. Like strangers start talking to you in the yes. That has to do with presence. It's not like you're advertising yourself. You're like, hey, I'm a nurse. If you have problems, come talk to me. I will listen. That is your presence, and that is unique. And I would say 70% of you are going to say, that's me. It's okay if you're in the 30%. I got something else for you. Yeah. That thing, that it factor, that special thing that you have, this gift from God, from the universe, from spirit, this gift that you have is presence related. It is not because you're a nurse. And yet, as a nurse, we're supposed to care for people, and you don't have any time to do it. You have no space to be that. What an oxymoron. That can be incredibly, incredibly damaging long term. Next is nurses blame themselves for systemic burnout. So many of you said I'm burned out. We have a lot of nurse coaches that specialize in burnout. A lot of nurse coaches have a severe burnout story, go through this training, start private practices, and help other nurses in burnout. Just so you know, that's like a really awesome niche and specialty. Clinical burnout is a thing. It's terrible. Nurses have such a high rate of substance abuse. And it's like, I'm an ex-drug addict, so I can speak freely on this. It's like, yeah, like if you're in pain all the time, you're going to find a way to be out of pain. So it's like, no shade. And burnout can lead to substance abuse. Burnout can lead to obesity, to other health problems, and it sucks. And a lot of that is systemic. It's not you. It's a system that's not working correctly, and you know it's not working correctly, but you don't know what you can do about it. You feel helpless. Got to keep paying the bills. And this one is really interesting, and I might piss off a few people tonight. But then Lena just said it. Lena, you just said it. You're currently burned out in nursing academics. My nurse educators, y'all are some of the most burnt out nurses that I talk to, which I think a lot of you at the floor think you want to go to education to get a break and not get burnt out. And I'm like, hey, grass isn't greener. This is scary. Like, I want to tell you guys that. The other thing we do when we are really, really struggling with nurse burnout, we just go get a master's. Or even better, we go get our NP because that's like the next best thing to do because we value education. And so I see this all the time. Something's not right. You know something's not right. The only paths we're shown is ascending in education, more degrees, more money, more responsibility, more burnout. And so like there's something systemically not working. And to go back to the Donald Trump comment, I know the argument for it is that there's been too many universities charging way too much money for these advanced nursing degrees. And there's way too many nurses with $100,000-$200,000 loans. And I think that's what the argument for that is. I was $100,000 in debt at 31. I became a nurse at 30. So that sucked. To get into a profession, to feel burnt out in my first 4 years, and to have that much student loan and not know what to do with it. So many times growth feels like more debt, not more freedom. We want growth, but not at the cost of more exhaustion. This is the fifth one, is that nurses have lost pride and a sense of becoming. This isn't a midlife crisis, it's an evolution. So this is a few phrases that nurses have actually said to me. I used to feel really proud walking into work, and now I feel numb. This is like a real world. These are really like comments that I wrote down on some of my advisor calls. Fear of the unknown keeps me stuck. This is huge. And for any of you guys like contemplating the academy or nurse coaching, even if it wasn't my program, many of you will not take the leap into it because you don't know what it's going to look like on the other end. And so you'd rather just suffer in something that's known. That's a huge one too. Yeah. Burnout has many origins. What I will say, and I have people on this call that could really, really speak to this. What I can say is that burnout is something that can be the doorway to something so amazing, like almost a required rite of passage to stop putting up with what doesn't work. It's that fever pitch of misalignment. Burnout is misalignment to the point where your body tells you, I'm done being misaligned. This happens in marriages that are misaligned. It happens in jobs that are misaligned. It happens in all sorts of things that are misaligned. All right. So we're going to go back to my little presentation here because I can get preachy at times and I apologize. All right. So I just want to read this to you. And this is a picture from one of our retreats, which I just love this picture. This retreat we had, I think, 42 nurses. This was about 3 years ago. And I just wanted to read this to you. Why nurses feel stuck. We don't feel stuck because we lack ambition or resilience. We feel stuck because the system depends on our devotion, while sanitizing the caring out of nursing. We are taught that suffering is part of the job, that stability comes at the cost of self, and that leaving means failing. So we stay, not because it's aligned, but because the familiar feels safer than the unknown. We aren't stuck because we don't want more. We're stuck because besides NP, master's, education, or leadership, we didn't realize another path existed until now. 2026 is the year of the nurse coaching specialty exploding. Right now in this country, I think we have 2,500 board certified nurse coaches. And when I graduated, we had 400. But that is, we're starting to hit the tipping point. So this is rapidly starting to change. This is the next question I want to ask you guys. You've been so generous in the chat. And I just know that all the nurses on this call reading the chat is getting value from it. I shared my moment for me where nurses stopped fitting. Nursing stopped fitting when I was required to lie to patients, is what I felt. When I was required to do harm by the advice that I was required to give because of the context of my own personal health crisis. If you're there, is there a moment, you can just do a sentence, what was a moment for you that nursing stopped fitting? When I didn't have the support to do the right thing. Oh man, yeah. COVID lies. No support. Oh man. Post-pandemic, when caring for patients changed. No support from leadership, from higher ups. When I became a patient. When my health was paying for my career. Yeah, dude, we're gonna bring this back up, but let's just sit in the gunk of the reality of where a lot of us are. Yeah. Do you guys believe that there's a way where you could love nursing? Like, can you imagine like a situation where you could just love being a nurse again? Just raise your hand if that's true for you. Yeah, you can imagine it. Yeah. This is what I will say about nurse coaching. We have 175 nurses on this call. Not 175 of you will become a nurse coach, and that's how you'll earn your money. But 175 of you, if you become a nurse coach, every vision you have for enjoying nursing again will be closer. So I want to talk more about why this training is different than another degree. Okay. This slide here for newbies is what nurse coaching is and what nurse coaching isn't. What nurse coaching is a nursing role grounded in assessment, presence, and behavior change. It is a legitimate nursing specialty that integrates health, lifestyle, mindset, and the science of human behavior change. It is using your nursing knowledge and experience in a deeper, more human way, working with human beings, not treating symptoms, a holistic bridge between healthcare and real life change, and the fastest growing holistic specialty in 2026. What nurse coaching isn't is therapy or mental health counseling, an MLM, wellness hustle, or influencer brand. It is not patient education. Patients do not need more education, they need more presence. And we're going to go deeper into that concept. That's a hard one for us to wrap our mind around. It is not practicing outside of your scope or without skill set and structure. You cannot call yourself a nurse coach without actual training and at least 60 hours of supervised practice. And it is not an advanced degree that takes $10,000 plus in 2 to 3 years and hopes to make $5 to $15 more per hour. I had to stick the knife in that one. You can tell I'm salty with that. And many of you because we talked to you on calls are like, okay, that's great, Laura, but like, what does that look like for me? What does it actually look like? Who do they coach? What do they do? What does it look like? And also, are there real nurse coaches building practices in the world? And there really, really is. All sorts of different ones. I'm going to give you a few case studies. But before I go into that, I find that nurse coaching, the best way to share about it is to do a demo of what it is and what it isn't. And so I'm going to ask somebody to be brave on this call. Kelly's already said, I'm brave. I'm brave. I saw you. And I'm gonna do two short coaching demos. Like I'm gonna try to make them like 10 minutes or shorter. And I'm gonna do the first coaching demo is gonna be a demonstration of what I thought nurse coaching was first. And then I'm gonna do a demo of what it actually is. I want you to get the distinction. And you can't get it unless you experience it. Do I have anybody, you can throw it into the chat, who would be willing to be coached on something, who has something right now that they would like different in their life that's top of mind, that feels important and wants to volunteer? All right, we've got Diana. Okay, let me see if I can see Diana. Diana, can you raise your hand so I can find you? Awesome. Okay. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell me what you want to be coached on? We'll see if it'll probably work, but I want to make sure to work for this side of the demo.
I'd like to be coached on getting ready for the cohort 6 and being emotionally prepared and confident that this is something that I can accomplish.
Oh, you'd be so good for the second demo. Can I save you for the second demo?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to save you, Diana, for the second demo. For this first demo, I would prefer if it was something maybe not cohort related. Maybe I would prefer if it maybe a health goal or a relational challenge or just something that's not necessarily nurse coach related. I see Courtney with her hand up and she has video. What do you got, Courtney?
Hey Laura, I'm your
Hi.
Canadian up here.
Yay.
I'm actually going to be in your residency soon, but I wanted to
Oh,
jump into
nice.
your discussion today.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to know how to not talk as much with ADHD in a staff meeting.
Hell yeah.
Story of my life.
Oh, this is great. Also, I have ADHD, so this is going to be fun. Okay, so I'm going to do a short coaching demo, and it's not wrong. It's just a way of coaching, and then I'm going to do a demo a different way. So I think Courtney, you'll probably understand what I'm doing, but for those nurses who haven't seen coaching, this will be great. All right, Courtney. Well, thank you so much for letting me coach you on this. So, why do you think you have to speak less in meetings?
Because it comes up in my performance evaluation often.
How does it come up? What is the feedback that you get?
I talk too much. I
Huh.
ask too many questions.
Mm.
And I question the decisions being made by the organization.
Oh, yeah. How does that make you feel when that happens?
Two things. Immediately, I was finally heard because often the discussion has been brought up before the meeting. And then the other thing is the constant rumination after of, oh, did I talk too much?
Yeah.
And yet, I'm getting feedback from my colleagues saying, thank God you brought that up. But at some point, I would like to not be the only person talking in the meetings, so it's a balance.
Mm. If we were to really assess it, like if you were a fly on the wall in these meetings, what percentage of talking time do you think is too much?
What my understanding is after 21 years of nursing is more than once.
Oh,
Is what my observation is.
just don't talk more than once.
Mhm.
That's the goal. Okay. How do you want to accomplish that goal?
I'm leaving nursing entirely and practicing my own practice.
Yeah. Oh, you're killing me. You're not giving me much material here to coach you badly, but let me
How about
try.
this? How
Yeah.
about this? while I'm still in the role, I've given
Yeah.
myself that part-time period. Um, I've put something on my finger so I can be quieter, and I make a note on my notepad that reminds me to pause. Um, but I wonder how how to do that and not feel chaos inside after leaving and getting frustrated or having to get up and move and go to the bathroom in these 3-hour meetings, because I just get quite restless. Do you have any
Yeah.
recommendations?
Yeah. Thank you for asking me for recommendations. So let me tell you a big personal story and then give you advice because that's
Sounds
what I
good.
thought nurse coaching was. I'm being sarcastic here. So when you're listening to Courtney, um, if you're not trained in nurse coaching, I bet some of you already have some ideas on how we could solve this problem, how we can help her. And then you want to be really helpful and you want to help her with good advice. And maybe you'll even throw in some personal stories so that she feels some rapport and feels comfortable. But immediately, Courtney's telling me about this problem that she has, and I'm going to go rush and we're going to try to solve the problem. And we're going to come up with a plan to solve the problem. We're going to come up with a strategy to solve the problem. That's not what nurse coaching is. Nurse coaching is not education. Now, could there be some form of knowledge that Courtney doesn't have that could help? 100%. It's not my job to teach her. I'm not the educator. I am not the expert of Courtney's life. Courtney's the expert of her life. She's the subject matter expert of Courtney. She knows her better than anybody else. And if I'm going to help Courtney, I'm going to leverage Courtney to tell me how to help Courtney. I'm not going to tell her. That's a huge difference in what I thought nurse coaching was. I thought I'd start telling people how to be healthy, especially around health. And it's very well intentioned and it is not effective in human behavior change. If you think about this, thank you so much, Courtney. We didn't get very far. I used you as like I want to come back and give you like an extra special coaching session because I feel so gross leaving you hanging. But we're gonna leave it there for now. But
Thank you.
if you think about, I don't know if any of you have toddlers, 3, 4, 5-year-olds on this call or grandkids that age, but if you want to get them to do something, you don't tell them to do it. You make them think it's like it's their idea. Same thing in leadership. Okay. For example, if I want my daughter to eat broccoli, I don't say, "Hey, Addie, can you eat your broccoli?" I say, "Hey, Addie, do you want to eat your broccoli or do you want to eat asparagus? Which green do you want?" And I give her agency and she chooses. Well, what we do is, as a board certified nurse coach, is we are asking so many questions so that we get an idea of what all the choices are. And then we ask the client what choice they want to make for themselves. But we are not fixing it. We're not educating. So I thought that was a really big aha for me. And I certainly didn't know that when I signed up. And there was no coaching demos online or anything like that. So it was really like blind when I enrolled. What I'd love to do, and I have to go find you again, is do my second coaching demo because that was something more mindset related. And I'll show you a little bit more of what nurse coaching could be like. Um, who was going to be there you are, Diana. Okay. You ready?
Ready?
Okay. So share again how you're feeling about starting the cohort.
I feel happy and excited, but at the same time, I'm worried and anxious and whether or not it will prove to be beneficial for me.
Yeah. Would you say that your nurse coach journey is taking you into the unknown?
Absolutely. It's the fear of the unknown. Um, I've been a nurse for 45 years plus, and I have two master's degree, one in marriage and family therapy, one in psychological studies. So I feel educationally prepared. And it does, I've gone through half of the education in our program so far, and none of it's really new or different. And my goal, with others is to help them help themselves. And I think that transition of being able to not to pull back from the I'm the nurse with presence and I can help you, to be able to pull back from that and to allow them to create their goals.
Yeah. What is the number one outcome that you desire from taking this leap into the program?
I just don't feel like I'm done. I feel, I'm in a community, a 55 over community. And like you says, I'm constantly, asked for presence information. And I need to funnel that in a different way so that it benefits me at this point. I mean, all I've done is give to others. And I feel like at this point, the next 10 years, you said 80. Well, this month I'm going to be 70.
Yay.
And I thank you. And I don't feel like I'm done. I feel like I could do more for others in this way.
Yes. Yeah. How could you fail?
I could fail by getting all this education and not investing the time in the clients.
Mm. How could you not invest the time in the clients? How would that happen?
Because I still have a life myself, and perhaps I won't make the right choices to make sure that I make enough time for the business.
Hmm. So you're struggling with self-trust.
Yeah, yeah. Family, my own life. And
Yeah.
am I ready to commit to, 4 clients a week or 3 clients a week?
Yeah. Well, you will be in our program because you'll be required to, so that's nice.
Yeah, well, that's forced, but I'm thinking about down the line
After.
when I get out, and will I be able
Yes.
to make that commitment to myself? And I really
Yeah.
do want to, so I mean, it was a leap just to join and pay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sensing and like gonna get just like give you I'm gonna reflect back to you the best that I can of what I'm how I'm experiencing you, and then we'll sit with that and see what comes up. But I hear you say, I am not done serving. I have more in me. I really want to serve. And I want to serve in a way that isn't just me giving freely to everybody with nothing in return. So I want to offer serve, and I also want to get fulfilled back. And I want to do this regularly for myself. And then I hear you say, but I have my own life.
Hmm.
Why can't that be part of your life?
Yeah, I agree with you, but that brings in the part of the fear, because I'm switching and stretching out the life. So, will I be fulfilled at that point?
Yeah, good question. Will you be fulfilled if you don't do it?
No, because right now I don't feel fulfilled. Right now I
Okay.
feel like I'm well educated and I'm doing absolutely nothing with it. What was it for?
Yeah. So you have a fear of losing what you have right now, which is not fulfillment.
No, not losing what I have now. It's gaining the new perspective, and will I be able to plow through the snow?
Hmm. Were you a good nurse, Diana?
I think so. I think I was always very pleased. Everyone called me the best school nurse in Long Branch.
Okay.
And I always made sure my clients were well cared for, and never left an environment where there was question that something was not done. So
When you
I
put
would
your
say
mind to something, when you put your mind towards something, do you usually excel at it?
yes, yes, yeah. And I think that, like I said before, I think I have the capability to make this transition. A lot of the business component for me is challenging, uh, making a website, getting yourself known. I think that's the challenging part for me.
Yeah. It's challenging to think about doing things we don't know how to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And the good part is that all those things are skills.
Hmm. that can be learned.
And we teach them so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm confident and hopeful that that's what will come out of this. That I will find the information that I need so that I can excel. It's not a problem of talking to clients. That's easy for me. I love doing that. It's making sure that I have the support to get through to the other side.
Yes, absolutely. It's very difficult to expand into a new identity alone without support.
Yeah, and that's sort of, I feel like that. I feel like a fish floundering, saying, okay, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to come out the other side.
Yeah. When's the last time you've been brand new at something?
Oh, quite a while.
Yeah.
I retired right at the pandemic, and I haven't worked since. I've been sitting here at home deciding, should I do education? Should I write? Should I do CEUs? Maybe I should do this. And then I saw
Yeah.
your information, and it just looked like that was the right niche for me. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I landed.
I'm going to speak some truth over the whole room and speak truth to you, Diana, right now, is that I cannot predict how it's going to feel or look or be on the other side when you're working with your first private client. And the Diana right now likely can't see it either, but the Diana who graduates will be clear. Just
I
let
hope
her
so.
worry about it.
Yeah, so that I'm like I said, I'm plunging in and diving in 100% and excited and willing to do what I have to do. Like I said, I've gotten through half of the information already, and I think I'm
Just
up
wait till we
to.
start doing coaching labs and peer coaching. That's
Listen
the
to
fun
this.
part. Yeah. All right. So, well, thank you so much for letting me offer a coaching demo. It was short and kind of not fair because you're taking the program that I'm offering you, and so I stuck in some things there. But what I want to share about what my coaching demo with Diana is, I was very curious, and a true coaching session, I probably bet would have been curious for about 30 to 40 minutes before we transitioned into anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then through me just being curious and non-judgmental, Diana's really starts to coach herself. You could even see it. She's like, well, I did this. And and then I asked that question, like, were you a good nurse? And she's like, well, I was the best school nurse. I was known as the best school nurse. And you could just start to see her frame this as like, hey, it's natural that I feel like a fish out of water because I haven't been new at anything in a long time. And then everything that I have done in the past, I was really good at. So it would logically make sense that I'll probably be good at this too, but I'm feeling uncomfortable and I deeply desire support as I expand into a new version of myself. And so, no, it's so condensed, but in an hour session, you'll be amazed through the style of teaching that we do and the style of coaching that we do, how much value the client will feel for just being listened to and me not trying to solve it and you not trying to solve it. Yeah. And then
Thank
Diana, your background also, I just can't help. Who else in the room here was like, with her background, how is she nervous?
you.
You have all the background, so you're coming in with an unfair advantage. You're gonna be a place for lots of wisdom with the
Well,
other
that's
students.
why I didn't feel like I was done yet.
Yeah. This is the icing on the cake. This is how we're gonna take it to the streets and take it out of here and take it out into the streets. Awesome. Thanks, Diana.
You. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Martha says, I can felt so jazzed after my first pro bono session. It's true. It's like you're so nervous leading up to your first pro bono session. That's where we have most students try to drop out on me, which I won't let you do, by the way. So if you're a student and you get the willies right before pro bono, I won't let you drop. And then as soon as you do the pro bono session, you feel so relieved. You're so excited. But leading up to it, for many of you, it's the first time in 10, 20, 30, 40 years that you've done something new. And that's what we're contending with, is just feeling like you aren't an expert for the first time as a nurse in 20 years. That's really natural, and we get to all share about that in the course. All right, I'm going to go back to my little slide here just to make sure I'm being good with time. I want to talk about 4 case studies here. I wanted to bring more to this, but inside of our ebook, I have a lot of these case studies. These are real, but I'm going to tell you a little story about each one. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is Brian, which I just love. This is actually a text from Brian to us where he said, I said, Brian, we heard the good news. Congrats on your first paid client. We'd love to hear all the details. A new record, by the way. And he said, new record. Well, he had joined our residency program. And I think that he had had a new client before we started. He just had a new client from taking the business course. So that was really cool. Brian is now, he hit 6 figures his first year. He is now working on going to multiple 6 figures and hiring a team. He offers high-end concierge recovery nursing, private nursing. He comes from recovery himself. He will go help people. He has doctors that he works with, and he'll go help them get clean in their homes. So he offers like very high touch, come to your home, live with you until you detox, and then helping people get into recovery through coaching. So it's a really, really high valued service that he provides. And it's growing like crazy. There's a lot of people who want to get sober, who need to detox, and they want to do it at home. And he allows for patients to do that and clients to do that. Rosemary is an NP, and she has a transformative functional medicine practice. So she combines clinical with the transformative. So like, for example, if someone comes to her and they're working on their health, she has the clinical expertise to create the treatment plan, to create the supplements, figure out what's going on. But she has the coaching background to meet with them every week to ensure that they make the lifestyle changes that makes it sustainable. And so she's doing really, really well. She started off part-time. So she worked full-time, started her practice part-time. It took her about a year, and then she went down to part-time at the hospital. Now she has her own office. And so there's like really beautiful ways to do this. You don't have to jump off a cliff like Shelby and I did. Most nurses are going to keep a job and then do this part-time and then titrate down into part-time or per diem if they like it or if they get any other opportunities. Nicole Wills is actually going to be shadowing this next cohort as she will be a future lead learning coach for us. So she's wonderful. She's a nurse leader and she's a part-time coach. She just quit her job, I think like 30 or 40 days ago, and is working on her nurse coaching practice and is going to be a part-time instructor for us. Christy Ann is one of our instructors. I love putting her up here because she has a full-time 6-figure mindfulness and meditation focused coaching practice. And she had very, 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 very little marketing. It was all word of mouth. And so the reason why I like to put her up as an example is she followed the successful nurse coach method, which we teach in business, to the T. And so I've interviewed her on my podcast several times, but she always says, I remember you telling me I just have to coach my butt off. I just have to focus on coaching as many people as possible the first year. And I guarantee you that if you just focus on serving your community your first year, that is the quickest way to success. It's when we spin our wheels about websites and marketing and all the other things where it can get really murky. So these are 4 nurse coach examples. And then I have Sarah on my call tonight, and I was looking for Kelly's picture and I could not find it when I was making this presentation. But Sarah and Kelly have done organizational coaching, and they're a great example of different ways that you can help organizations with burnout, with staff retention. Right now, nurse turnover can cost organizations between 4.4 million and 7 million per year. And when you lose a nurse, it's like $60,000 to $80,000 to recruit and train and get another one ramped up to take their place. And so nurse turnover is a huge financial leak on the system. It's also not good for patients and not good for staff. Nicole, here about 3 years ago, she started a nurse coach department, a pilot program in her organization in Florida. They have since created, I think, 30 nurse coaches. They have nurse coaches in 22, or they're moving to have them in 22 different locations. And they have reduced turnover 5 to 40% on every unit that they had a nurse coach meet with staff once a month paid. So staff got paid an hour of their monthly pay to meet with Nicole, either on Zoom or in person. And if they met with Nicole 1 hour, 1 session a month for 6 months, that the entire floor benefited from it. And so if you had, for example, a nurse coach making a leadership salary, let's say that you're making $150,000 a year as a full-time nurse coach in an organization. If you coach staff the entire year You only have to save 2 nurses from turning over to pay your salary. That's an easy sell. And that is how we're selling organizational contracts right now with the Academy. And if any of you take my program, graduate, you love it, you bring it back to your organization, you want to pilot a program like Nicole did, Shelby and I will get on with your CNO and help make that happen. So we will be very, very active post-graduation and supporting you any way that we can. All right. So this is where I want to invite you to join us if it's something that you want to do. And I think that it was so beautiful to have Diana be coached, because I already know, for those of you who are thinking about it, I already know what your top 3 fears are of doing it, because I've been doing this for so long. And so let me ask in the chat, if you're considering doing the training, what's the number 1 reason holding you back? If you wouldn't mind sharing, just so other people know that they're not alone. Money, money, fear of wasted times, money, 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 money and time, the unknown, cost. I'm nervous I wouldn't make anything. Cost. Yeah. Yep. Money, financial, confidence. Absolutely. I fear I'm just not a business person. Fear of failure. All the above. Yep. Check, 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 check. I don't want to ever convince any of you that that parting with $4,000 tuition isn't nothing. But I do want to frame it for you in a way that only I can frame it, because I've been watching this for so many years, is that if we say we want something more and we say we want something different, then we have to make decisions from our future version of ourselves, not the version of we are now. And there are so many nurses in this room that would drop $20K on a master's degree without as much fear as $4K on a nurse coach certification. So a lot of it is just, it's different and new. And 40%, I think I have this here. Actually, I'm going to go through a few of these testimonials, or just things that I picked up this week. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ways I can help those fears if you're really feeling like you're up against them. All right. So I asked my cohort from, I think this is cohort 5, but I said, hey, cohort 5, I'm going to be in this masterclass. Can you just say what you'd want to say to them? Because I want some screenshots, if you're okay with being screenshotted. And so this was Lori, and she said, I've experienced immense personal growth and self-awareness in this program. It's allowing me to approach nursing with a different perspective. This program is opening doors into nursing that I didn't know existed. The knowledge I've gained will allow me to nurse in a way that I organically always felt I wanted to. And now I have an avenue where I can do that while being my authentic nurse self. I've also met some wonderful new people who will be great support network going forward. And I'm so pleased I made the decision to take this journey. Colleen says, this program has changed me deeply in ways I didn't know possible. It has expanded an amazing world of possibilities. None of the coursework felt like hard work to me, just incredible personal growth. I have an MSN, and working through this content was nothing like that. You can do this and you will not regret this decision. And Brandy, who came to retreat this year as well, she said, this program has changed my life. I'm not the same person walking out that I was when I walked in. My nursing heart sparked back to life, and I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do when I became a nurse, which is changing people's lives. And none of that's about money, right? No one's saying I'm making all this money, but this is the 3 questions students ask themselves before they say yes. Do I actually have the time? I'm already stretched thin. Am I confident enough yet? What if I'm not ready? Is this worth the investment? What if it doesn't work? I think this one's huge for a lot of you. But I wanted to give you a few fun facts for your brain. 4 out of 10 of our students who work through the included private practice course have a paid client the day that they graduate. It takes 4 clients to pay your tuition. So if you graduated in July, if you had 4 paying clients before December, if you think that could be a possibility, then you will make back your investment in the first 6 months. And we've had a lot of people make a lot higher than that. We have a 99% pass rate on the NCBC exam. We are in talks with 8 organizations of previous students just from this year to help create nurse coach departments. And I'll show up for any meeting you have with your CNO to help you create it if that's something you want to do. There are only 2,500 practicing nurse coaches in the US market. It isn't saturated. We are at the beginning of a movement. And so now this is my big plea. This is my big sales pitch. Don't be selfish. Help us. Come and help us. Whether it be through organizational coaching, where we help our student nurses, where we create nurse residency programs that end after clinical residency and begin into emotional residency, and we get these poor new nursing students some emotional intelligence and support so that they're not burning out 3 to 5 years in. And this is for burnout. Frank just up and exploded. I hope I never get that burnt out. The thing with the money, the investment for many of you, and for me, investing in nurse coaching was the only investment that wasn't student loan related that I had ever done, and it made me deeply uncomfortable. For those of you who have made the investment, does anybody want to share anything about the way that you felt and how you feel now? And you don't have to make it fancy or anything, but would anybody be willing to share how it felt to make that investment and how you feel now about it? Yeah, Kelly.
Well, I spent 30 grand, I think, having gone through other programs and then having to find you, or I did find you. So to me, like, it was the best, and I say that it's still the best, decision that I ever made, because the cost of waiting would have just impacted my life in such a negative way that to me it was priceless.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think other Kelly IE, I thought I saw you.
Hi, good evening. So
Hi.
while I didn't take this course through Laura Shelby's program, I did take it through INCA 3 years ago. So I am a holistic wellness nurse coach and a holistic nurse. And I'm still, like all of you, I'm still finding my way with that. I'm finishing up a hypnosis course, but going back, it was the best thing I've ever decided, was to become a nurse coach. And the community of nurse coaching is phenomenal. It opens every possible door you can imagine for where you want to go, with autonomy, with the ability to make a significant salary, getting out of the "may I have a day off, please," and really taking back control. And I'm right there with you. I've been out 3 years, and it's still building, and I'm still learning every day. So it's a skill set that no one can ever take away from you, and you will use it in every part of your life.
Yeah.
Worth every cent, worth every single penny.
Thanks,
and
Kelly.
If Laura and Shelby had the program at the time I took mine, I would have been in their program. No question.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
thank you
your
so much,
podcast.
Kelly. Thanks. Yeah, nurse coaching, basically, when you invest in yourself, you become an appreciating asset and you become better at everything that you do. And then if you get to earn money doing it in all the ways that we teach, that's just like extra. But I think that how we get over the fear of, like, what if I invest and I'm not good at it and I made a mistake? I think we have to switch our minds around that. It's like, okay, what if I don't invest in myself and I stay the same? Like, will I regret that? Or is that something I can live with? Or is like that pain worse than the fear of me maybe feeling like I didn't get my money's worth? And the truth is that we have, on a lot of our testimonials on our website, people will say, even if I never made a penny, even if I never had a private client, even if I never got a job as a nurse coach, I changed so much personally that it was worth the amount of money. And so I just want to leave that with you guys. I also, tonight it's about 8:30. So I wanted to leave some time for Q&A, but I also wanted to say, I just checked our tracker and I have 8 spots left for January, and that starts January 11th in 5 days. I have 8 spots left for January, and I have like 75 advisor calls booked. So if January is something that you wanted to do and you haven't had a call with us, I'm going to put the link in the chat for that. If you enroll to save a spot, you can still have an advisor call with us. And if you had an advisor call with us and it was something that was just not correct, we'll give you a refund. That's the only way. Like, we're just too close and there's not enough spots. So if you're really thinking you want to do January, that's what I'd prefer that you do, is save your seat and then book a call if you want it. And then I will give you a refund if you get onto that advisor call and something doesn't feel right. Program is 28 weeks. And it is 60 units of coursework and 60 units of pro bono coaching. And it is a mixture of asynchronous and synchronous. And most things can be done asynchronously, except for our coaching labs. Our coaching labs are like this, but much smaller space. We'll be in a Zoom room like this from 6 p. Eastern to 8 p. Eastern. We do it 5 nights, different nights of the week. And we also do Saturdays. And we also have some mornings from 12 to 2 Eastern. And for those, you need to come live because it's experiential. We're going to get into small groups. It's actually the most fun part of the whole program. And I have many nurses that come to way more than 6. So the way that we structure it, we have so many live calls. And when you enroll, you just RSVP to the ones that work best with your schedule. 70% of our nurses are working 40 hours a week or more. And it's about 4 to 6 hour week commitment for 28 weeks to graduate on time. All right. So let me throw that link in here before I forget. And obviously it's late tonight. Okay. But if you got any questions, you can shoot us an email or text us and we'll get to it tomorrow. Anybody have any questions? Q&A, any question, happy to answer. And you can throw it in chat or you are welcome to ask. Andrea.
Hi. This is my
Hi.
second webinar, so
Yeah.
thanks for checking in with me. But I think I put it in the chat, and I don't know if this is a fair question, but like I do have a full-time job. I do, I'm a 6-figure earner. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
But I was just curious, like whether if I were to do this part-time or full-time, like how many clients would you need to like either replace your salary or like or would I need to jump on an advisory call to understand that part?
Yeah, we could do that, but also our podcast is really great. We have so many episodes. So because we started with private practice mentorship, we have so many episodes on exactly how. And essentially, it takes, I would say, like I am not a big fan of unrealistic claims when it comes to income. And so I really think when we make decisions like this, we have to like find intrinsic value outside of that. And then the money that we make gets to be part of that. But I would say like 36 to 40 months is usually how long it would take to get to multiple 6 figures if you were working on it consistently.
So 3 years.
3 years. That's what I would say. And then I've had nurses do it way faster and I've had nurses that don't do it. And so it's just also what your goals are and who you end up wanting to help. So there are as a general nurse life coach, you're going to graduate and charge about $1,200 for 3 months. That is like the kind of the going rate. Doesn't matter where you live in the country. We teach you exactly how to do this. So if you're doing 3 months for $1,200, that's a lot of clients to get to 6 figures, right? So most nurse coaches get to be eventually about like 3,200 for 3 months, 6,000 for 6 months is kind of like the going range for a full-time professional coach. So you can kind of do the math there and see what that looks like. But multiple 6-figure earners likely have a group program and some one-to-one programs. And so where you can earn a lot of money is in small group and something more structured. And it takes years of coaching to come up with what that structure would be or what that course would be. But that's where, like, if you worked with, let's say you worked with menopausal women who were burned out and wanted a career change, like that just happened to be your niche. I just throwing this out there. And let's say you had 5 women join a 6-month program and you charged $5,000 for that program. And they can write off that program, by the way. Right. So it's a business write-off. And so that would be a $25K right there for a group that you hold for 6 months. That's where you get scalable income as a professional coach. But we have been seeing 6-figure coaching roles posted. We just saw one maybe 6 months ago. Sarah sent it to me. It was like $290 or $350 a year to coach advanced practitioners and physicians. You needed to have a national certification and you need to have an advanced degree. So there were like stipulations. There also are coaching roles that are in the multiple 6 figures.
So you're saying this was like within an organization looking to like help their
for their nurses. Yep. For their staff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we could also create a 6-figure position for you in an organization. Pretty easy. We hope to have a white paper on nurse coaching and retention. And I did the math on that. If having a full-time nurse coach on staff can save you 3 staff members, you've got margin. That'll pay your salary. And so if you're saving 20 to 30, if the KPIs show you're saving 20 to 30 nurses from leaving, then there makes a real case for a nurse coach department. So that's I would really like to see a lot of you guys go in that direction. I'd love to help you get into that direction as well.
Okay. No, thank you for, I mean, I haven't checked out the podcast, but I should do that.
Yeah. And you can have a call with us anytime too. So happy to chat it up. We have a lot of evidence and a lot of case studies and a lot of stuff. And the podcast would probably be helpful for the stage you're at, Andrea.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Podcast is The Successful Nurse Coach. And this is my first time attending a webinar. Yep, our website. Let me put that website here. I forgot some of you are brand new to us.
Laura, I was answering some of these questions. I just kind of took it upon myself. So
thank
just, you know,
thank you.
I put the website in there, asked a couple of the general questions. I think the main things are, do we have payment plans? The answer is yes. And the time commitment. So I just said 4 hours. So
great.
So you all can hear that if you had that question and didn't see my answer, but you know me, I just jumped right in and started.
Thank you. Well, Kelly's one of our advisors. So if you book a call, there's a chance you'll get to talk to her. You might get a chance to talk to Sarah. Yeah. Oh, Kia or Kaya? I always get that one wrong. Is it Kia or Kaya? Kaya's asking, how often do you guys have a retreat? Kia. Okay. My team member's Kaya and it's spelled the same way. So I always don't know. We were doing 2 to 3 retreats a year. We did one in September of last year. We're taking this year off is our plan. But we will definitely do something in 2027. So normally we have more than one a year, but we've been going hard with retreats. And so we decided to take a break of retreats in 2026. Yeah. And then payment plans. So I recommend checking out Klarna so you can create your own payment plan. That allows you to really create what you want your monthly payments to be. We get paid in full, so you get the pay in full discount. And then they do financing through them. And they just ACH you create your own monthly payments, they ACH you. And then there's no prepayment penalty. So once you get a few paying clients, you can throw that back on and pay that off. That's a really good way to do it. We do have an in-house payment plan that is on the website as well. Lydia, hey.
Hello. I'm curious about your residency program, if that's for current coaches, right?
Yes. So the residency is our newest iteration of business coaching. And so it is for once you've gone through a nurse coach program, when you're in that beginning stages of launching private practice, that program is really, really, really structured for that first 4 to 6 months of private practice. And Shelby, my co-founder, manages the residency program. We have a residency starting this month. I think we have 4 spots left for residency this month. That's on our other website, thesuccessfulnursecoaches.com. And we've had extraordinary success with that. We ran a lot of different programs. Our last cohort, everybody had a paying client by the time that they graduated. Many of them had a paying client before we started, just working in the business course and the accountability. And so it's certainly, Shelby would love to talk to you about that if that was something you'd be interested in, Lydia. And I can write your name down and make sure we follow up with you.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Where did you graduate from? Or where?
I went through the collective.
Okay,
and
awesome.
It's been a couple of years. Life changes since then.
Yeah.
But I am now ready to kick off and develop my own private practice, ideally, and see where that goes. So
we'd love to do that. And we've worked with so many collective grads, a lot of collective grads. So that's awesome.
Are you saying that there is a business course through your main program and then residency is in addition to that?
Same business course. So we just gift our whole business course to all of our NLCA grads. We decided just to give everybody the whole course. But residency is like taking the course and breaking it down into weekly action. So it's like when you come out of certification, you could probably speak to this. Certification is so structured. We love structure. We love 4 to 6 hours and we have like deadlines, and that keeps us like the eye on the prize. And I think that earlier, Diana was alluding to like, hey, I'm okay when I'm in a program, but once I'm out of a program, I don't have any structure, and I feel like I don't know what to do without any structure. And so what we found with residency, like really running it like a residency, it just has worked really, really well. And so same business course, like we don't gatekeep any information, but it's like implementation of that business course. And those are at night. So residency calls are at night. You get one-to-one coaching. We do coaching supervision. If you want to brush up on skills, Lydia, that probably is something that's on your mind, is like, I got to get back in the coaching.
Right.
Yeah. So we can definitely prioritize that, but it's much, much more building your skills, because at a certification, you only have 60 hours. So we really want to get to 100 hours post-cert is like the first benchmark that we want to get you to.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if it was structured like the program where you are having pro bono clients. There are requirements with pro bono clients. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. And
all right,
CEUs. We also offer CEUs for research if you need them.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. All of that is great news. Would you mind sharing the cost, or we can talk about that on a call?
Yeah, it was supposed to go up. So let me check my website. I can pull up my website really quick.
Good. I don't want to consume your
or
everybody else's time. Yeah,
our price is going up in that program. So I can't remember if it was 5,000 or 6,000, but it's 5,000 or 6,000 is the cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Tay.
Hi, I have not a question, but just some information, because I was on the fence about signing up for cohort 6.
Okay, great.
And actually, someone's.
Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. There we go. There we go, Tay. I just had to unmute everybody. All right.
Okay. So I wanted everyone to know that if you are currently working, look into your organization, because they will pay for this certification, because I'm getting mine paid. They're giving me, I think, 2,000 towards the certification. The only thing is, if you're willing to stay, well, at my job, I have to stay for a year. Afterwards. So I was happy to see that they actually will give money towards the certification. So
yes, awesome. Yep, about 25% of our students get some reimbursement. We do have a PDF. I can post that right now. Yeah, some organizations don't, but we always want to try. But don't let that stop you. Don't let it stop you. Let it be. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hold on. I'm going to get you that link so you guys can have it. Just 1 second. Here we go.
I just put it in there, Laura.
Oh, you've got it. All right. So that is our tuition reimbursement. You can literally click on it. You can also email us or text us and we'll get it to you. But that's just how to have the conversation. It either comes from professional development or continuing education. But we have had a lot of organizations like make space for it. And then the other thing that you can do, because you have pro bono hours, is you can offer to coach staff with your pro bono hours. So that's like another way that you can make it more worth their time. Hey, Sam. Hi. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you. Let's see if we can hear you.
All right. Is that better?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So I think you had mentioned, talked about them a little bit earlier in the call, but I was wondering, what's the differentiator with you guys and the collective? Because I've seen both. I've actually got an informational thing with them tomorrow. And it sounds like you guys are more like general coaching versus they seem to be a little bit more health focused.
Yes.
And I was just kind of wondering if you would be okay with speaking to that.
Yeah. Who is anyone on this call? Did anyone on this call graduate from the collective? I used to teach for them. So yeah, Rhonda, you graduated. Okay. Kelly graduated too. I used to teach for them. So Kelly, do you want to speak on this? I can speak on it, but I almost feel like I'd rather it not be me.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Or someone else? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you, Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that, and this is kind of what if you've had a call with me, we've talked through this a lot this week. The collective is very focused on the health coaching and different lifestyle type coaching. It's a little more transactional, which is something that is just less. It's not as deep as maybe life coaching can get. And what I like reassure people, and I don't know if I heard this on a podcast you said, Laura, or what, but what we do is we equip you to handle the challenges that come with health coaching. So a lot of people do come to you for health coaching or lifestyle medicine. And what this program, how it differs is that it equips you with the confidence and the ability to come up with the challenges that are undoubtedly connected to health challenges, like relationships and your emotional well-being, your mental health, your spiritual health, financial, that type of thing. So we equip you to do that. Also, I would say the difference was that I think is really cool is that there's live coaching labs here where you actually do get to go through case studies and you get to do peer coaching in front of a coach and get feedback. Whereas that was a lot more, in my mind, it was a little bit more, a lot more videos and not as much of live events. And in fact, sorry, not as much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like feedback. There wasn't as much feedback.
We didn't hear that.
I'm trying to think of some other things.
And
then let me
I'd
see
say
if
that's the main reason.
like, well,
Okay.
And I'm sorry if I.
let me see. Someone's not muted. I want to just make sure
Oh,
I get them
okay.
muted. And then
Yeah.
Sam, what I will
will
say too, I'm gonna mute everybody and then I'll come back on. Okay, I think we're good. Is that I really want you guys to.
Right now, but you said no. Don't do that.
Okay. All right. Got it. What I will say is that when we built this program, I really wanted you, the day that you graduated, to have everything that you need. If that one of your pro bono clients wanted to hire you, that you felt like you could say, yes, I charge $1,200. Here's my contract. Because collective grads come to us for residency because they don't feel ready for private practice. And so it's not that you couldn't get there. And a lot of people, collective's cheaper than now. I think they don't have as many live calls. It's like a different format than when I taught with them. And so I always say, go to both. Whatever resonates is the best path for you always. Like your gut will always tell you where to go. And if private practice is the end goal, you could always come back and do residency with us if you wanted to as well.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it because I was curious. I've seen both. Like I said, I signed up for one of these with them tomorrow to kind of. I'm just getting info, and I
totally
appreciated you coming out with like, nurses want to either go for their master's, get their NP, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm trying to weigh my options. So thank you so much for answering a lot of questions. And
I'm so glad. Yeah, and I can sometimes seem flippant about don't ever go to higher education. I think that higher education, if it's solving the right problem, is wonderful, but oftentimes we turn to higher education to solve a problem that it doesn't solve, and that's where I'm really passionate about.
No, for sure.
And 4,000 6 months is just if it was the thing, like then we get to save money and time, which would be great.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if I can do, I would like to help learn how to reverse their diabetes and learn how to just generally eat for health, basically. That's kind of my hope and dream. And so,
well, let me share this.
So I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah.
If you work with a client to try to reverse diabetes, by the third session, you will not be talking about food or diet.
That makes sense.
They're going to talk about their husband who keeps on eating sugar and doesn't support them. It's always going to go relational, or like the finances, it's always going to go root cause, which is outside of the health expertise. And not that you shouldn't have, you can still be a wonderful health coach, but I want you to be able to say like, hey, I can sense how the stress in your marriage is causing this. Have you guys ever done any work with love languages? Like, have you ever learned how to communicate with your partner? Here, I've got 5 different relational toolkit things that I can give you that you could do. And it'll give them more relief, which then in turn really reverses their diabetes because we're getting to like the root cause of stress. And and so I think that's how we would tie into, that's how a coach that's trained in life coaching can still be a health coach, but it's like no matter where it meanders, you feel prepared. Like you feel like, I got this. I know exactly what I'm going to do here. You won't be like, all right, I'm sorry that your husband's a jerk. Let's get back to your diet and your macros. And I think that it can just be a little bit deeper and more effective.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. Thank you so much, Laura. Have
You're
a great
welcome.
night.
Yeah. I'm looking at Linda Bates and I just see a dog and it makes me so happy in the screen. We got a dog at the masterclass tonight. Any other questions that you guys have? And then I think we put lots and lots of links. We certainly, if you want to do January, we want to give you a spot. If you want to do March, not a problem at all. If you want to talk to our team to help make this decision, absolutely. If finances is really stressing you out, talk to our team. We might be able to coach you through that. We will never do any hard sells or weird stuff, but oftentimes, to become who we want to become, we have to take a risk that we're not used to taking. And it can sometimes really be nice to talk through that with somebody else in like a non-pressured way. So we'd love to help you. Let's see where we're at. Okay, man, we had a lot of amazing nurses here tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming. Like, this is our best workshop we've ever done. And it's been such a pleasure to be with all of you. And I hope I get to see you on the flip side in Nurse Coach World. But you reach out to us if you have any additional questions. And thanks for coming. All right. Oh, Michelle. See you. Bye, Cynthia, Lydia, Amy. Thanks for coming, Kelly, and running interference. Have a blessed night, guys. See ya.